Friends, the story I'm going to tell you today is a shocking true story about maternal love, sacrifice, and a miracle brought about by an unexpected angel. In the spring of 2009, Sarah Miller, 8 months pregnant, vanished without a trace from a small town in Montana. 6 months later, a newborn baby was discovered in the home of a retired nurse in Boise, Idaho. DNA tests confirmed that the baby was the child of the missing Sarah. But where was Sarah, and why was her baby in the house of a strange nurse? If you stay with me until the end, you will witness through tears how hope blossomed in a desperate situation and who the true hero of this story is. On April 12th, 2009, Sarah Miller, age 30, was reported missing from Cedar Creek, Montana. At the time, Sarah, 8 months pregnant, lived with her husband, David Miller, age 32, in a quiet rural community. She had said she was leaving for a doctor's appointment that afternoon, but never arrived. When she didn't return home by evening, her husband called the police. The police investigated the husband and family, but couldn't find any decisive clues. The sudden disappearance of a pregnant woman sent shockwaves through the entire town. As time passed, the case gradually faded from public memory. But on October 15th, 2009, something incredible happened. A baby boy, appearing to be about 3 months old, was discovered in a modest house on the outskirts of Boise, Idaho. The owner of the house was a retired nurse, a 63-year-old woman named Eleanor Vance. The baby was healthy, but he had no birth certificate, and it was unclear how he had come to be in the house. A DNA test revealed a shocking truth. The baby was the son of Sarah Miller, who had disappeared 6 months earlier. Before we continue with the truth behind this mysterious disappearance and miraculous discovery, if you enjoy touching stories of real-life maternal love and human drama, please subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. I want to continue sharing true stories with unexpected twists and heartwarming conclusions. Also, please let us know in the comments where you are watching from. I want to share these incredible human stories with people from all over the country. On Thursday, April 12th, 2009, Sarah Miller's morning began like any other. "Don't forget your doctor's appointment today," her husband David said as he left for work. "I know. It's at 2 p.m., right?" Sarah replied, stroking her belly. At 8 months pregnant, she was just 2 months from her due date. It was their first child, and both Sarah and David were anxious about everything. "Our son has to be born healthy," Sarah whispered to herself, placing a hand on her stomach. They were overjoyed when the ultrasound confirmed they were having a boy. "What should we name our son?" David pondered daily. "Let's take our time. We still have a while." At 1:30 p.m. that day, Sarah left the house. The clinic was a 30-minute bus ride away. "I'm heading out," Sarah said to her mother-in-law. "Be careful. Your belly is so big now, don't fall." But Sarah never showed up at the clinic. At 3 p.m., the clinic called. "Sarah Miller had an appointment today, but she hasn't arrived." Her mother-in-law found it odd, but didn't think much of it. Maybe there's traffic. She'll probably call soon. But by 6 p.m., Sarah still hadn't returned. When David came home from work, he was told his wife was missing. "What? She's not back yet?" "No, the clinic said she never came." David immediately tried calling Sarah's cell phone, but it was turned off. That's strange. Sarah would never turn off her phone. At 8 p.m., unable to wait any longer, he reported her missing to the police. My wife, who is 8 months pregnant, has been out of contact since this afternoon. The search began that night. The police launched an immediate investigation. The disappearance of a pregnant woman was an emergency. Where was she last seen? The lead detective asked. The last time I saw her was when she was leaving the house, David answered. Security footage showed Sarah walking toward the bus stop, but her trail went cold after that. Did she get on the bus? We checked with the bus driver, but he said he couldn't remember. The investigation started with the family, as statistics show family members are often involved. Mr. Miller, what were you doing that afternoon? The detective asked David. I was at work. My colleagues can all confirm that. David's alibi was solid. He had been in meetings all afternoon, witnessed by several people. What about your mother? She was home alone, but as she was over 70, suspicion against the family was soon dismissed. They all had concrete alibis. This suggested the possibility of an outside perpetrator. Have there been any strange occurrences around Mrs. Miller lately? The detective inquired. Not really. We lived a normal life. Sarah was a very ordinary small-town homemaker. She had no enemies and no financial problems. A month passed. A nationwide alert was issued, but no leads emerged. How can a pregnant woman vanish without a trace? The investigative team grew frustrated. 2, then 3 months went by. Her due date came and went. If Sarah had given birth, the baby would have been born by now. Was our son born healthy? David cried every night. His mother felt the same pain. Where could my daughter-in-law and grandson be suffering? The townspeople were concerned, but as time went on, interest waned. After 6 months, the police officially scaled back the investigation. We will resume if new evidence comes to light. Only the family continued to search for Sarah. Then on October 15th, 2009, the unbelievable happened. As you listen to this, what are your thoughts? Is it possible for a woman 8 months pregnant to disappear without a trace? If the family's alibis are solid, who took Sarah and why? Share your theories in the comments. What really happened to Sarah Miller? At 10 a.m. on October 15th, 2009, a strange report came from a residential area on the outskirts of Boise, Idaho. I keep hearing a baby crying from the house next door, but there's no baby there. The caller was a neighbor, Mrs. Davis. Eleanor Vance lives alone, but for the past few days I've heard a baby crying. The police visited the home of 63-year-old Eleanor Vance. Knock, knock. Ma'am, it's the police. Could you please open the door? When the door opened, the officers were stunned. A baby boy who looked to be about 3 months old was cradled in her arms. Ma'am, whose baby is this? Eleanor Vance looked flustered. This child is, and she couldn't finish her sentence. Is he registered? Where are his parents? The baby looked healthy and well cared for, but he had no birth certificate. The police took Eleanor to the station. Ma'am, please tell us the truth. Where did this baby come from? Eleanor Vance had worked as a nurse for 40 years before retiring. She had lived a single life and had no nieces or nephews. I don't know anything. She insisted, remaining silent. Just then, one of the investigators checked the National Missing Persons database. Wait a minute, there's a baby who was due to be born around this time. It was Sarah Miller's child, the pregnant woman missing from Montana. Her due date was in June, so he'd be about 3 months old now. They urgently requested a DNA test. The results came back in 3 days. It's a 99.99% match. This baby is Sarah Miller's son. It was a shocking revelation. The baby of a woman missing from Montana had been found in Idaho. Sarah Miller's family was contacted immediately. Is it true? Our grandson has been found. The mother-in-law burst into tears. David rushed to Boise. The moment he saw the baby, he knew, that's my son. That's really my son. The baby was healthy, clearly well cared for by someone, but the most important question remained, then where is Sarah? Eleanor Vance still refused to speak. Ma'am, where is this baby's mother? The whole country has been looking for her for 6 months. But Eleanor only repeated, I don't know. The investigative team conducted a thorough search of her house. What they found was astonishing formula diapers, baby clothes, all recently purchased. There were also prenatal vitamins and childbirth-related medical supplies. It seems you've been caring for this baby all by yourself. Even more surprising was her diary. June 15th, a new life was born today, a truly healthy baby. June 20th, the baby is eating well. He cries a lot at night, but it's okay. On July 10th, I saw his first smile, so beautiful. The diary indicated she had been caring for the baby since June, but there was no mention of Sarah Miller. The team pressed her harder. Ma'am, if you continue to lie, you could be arrested on kidnapping charges. It was then that tears streamed down Eleanor's face. Please, please protect her. Protect who? Sarah. She's in grave danger. Finally, Eleanor began to talk. It was the night of June 14th. A pregnant woman collapsed in front of my house. And that was Sarah Miller. Yes, she called my name and asked for help. With 40 years of nursing experience, Eleanor knew exactly what to do in an emergency. She was in labor. I was about to take her to the hospital, but she said she couldn't go to the hospital under any circumstances. She said they would kill her. I don't understand. The investigators were confused. Who would kill her? Eleanor then revealed an even more shocking story. Sarah told me someone was trying to kill her. That's why she ran away. Finally, the reason for Sarah's disappearance began to surface. Who had put her in such danger? If this tense development resonates with you, please show your support by clicking the like button. Where could Sarah be? I want to continue sharing these kinds of moving, suspenseful, true stories. Eleanor Vance's testimony continued. Sarah told me everything. Sarah had shared a horrifying story with her. She said that after they married, her husband began to change. How did he change? At first, it was small things, forbidding her from going out, preventing her from contacting friends. David Miller, who appeared to be a normal husband, on the outside was in fact trying to control his wife. It got worse after she became pregnant. He watched her every move, and when she was alone, he would lock the doors. According to Eleanor, Sarah grew increasingly fearful. Then there was a decisive incident. What incident? On the night of April 10th, David came home drunk and hit her. He hit her pregnant belly. Eleanor said, tears in her eyes. She told me she wrapped her arms around her stomach and cried, begging him to stop saying he could kill the baby. It was then that Sarah made a decision. She had to escape to protect her child. So that's why she fled on April 12th. Yes, she lied about going to the clinic. She used money she'd saved up to take a bus all the way to Boise. You see, I was Sarah's high school nurse. How could I turn away a former student who came to me after 20 years? Eleanor hid Sarah in her home, and on June 15th, with Eleanor's help, Sarah safely gave birth to her son. So where is Sarah now? Eleanor hesitated before speaking. Sarah was very weak after the birth. What do you mean weak? She had severe postpartum depression, and she was terrified that her husband would find her. Eleanor said she had sent Sarah to a place where she could receive psychiatric treatment. She's at a clinic in Seattle. She's receiving treatment there. Why didn't you say something sooner? Sarah begged me not to. She said to never tell anyone, that if her husband found her, he might actually kill her. The investigative team immediately contacted the clinic in Seattle. Do you have a patient named Sarah Miller? Yes, we do. She's been with us since June. At last, Sarah's whereabouts were confirmed, but another problem remained: the investigation into David Miller. We need to confirm if Mr. Miller really abused his wife. The team returned to Cedar Creek, and their investigation uncovered shocking facts. According to neighbors, David was indeed extremely controlling of his wife. We hardly ever saw Sarah out by herself. Sometimes she'd appear with bruises. But everyone had dismissed it as a family matter and hadn't paid attention. The team brought David Miller in for questioning again. Mr. Miller, did you ever abuse your wife? At first, David denied it. Never. I loved my wife. But as the evidence mounted, he finally confessed. I didn't know what I was doing. When I drank, I would get so angry. David admitted he had become even more irritable after Sarah got pregnant. I was anxious about our first child. I started suspecting Sarah might be cheating on me. His suspicion and control escalated. He questioned her every time she left the house and forbade her from contacting friends. Crucially, he also admitted to the events of the night of April 10th. I was drunk and did something crazy to hit my pregnant wife. David finally realized the gravity of his actions. She ran away because she was scared of me. It's all my fault. Meanwhile, news came from the clinic in Seattle that Sarah's condition had greatly improved. She had severe depression and anxiety at first, but she's gotten much better with treatment, her doctor said. Her longing for her baby was the best medicine. She would look at his picture every day and say she wanted to see him soon. Sarah had been looking at the photos of her baby that Eleanor sent every day. Knowing my son was growing up healthy was my greatest hope. Now came the most crucial moment: the reunion of Sarah and her baby and the confrontation with David. The medical team approached it cautiously. Sarah's mental state is much improved, but a sudden change could be risky. They first told Sarah that her baby was healthy and that her husband had admitted his wrongdoing. Really, my baby is okay. Sarah wept with joy, and David has agreed to get counseling. He's promised to change. Sarah's expression was complex. I I was so scared, scared for the baby. You're safe now. Everything is going to be different. And after 2 weeks of careful preparation, the day of the reunion was set. On November 1st, 2009, a special reunion took place at a counseling center in Seattle. Sarah arrived first. It was her first time seeing her son in 6 months. My boy, you've grown so big and healthy. When Eleanor Vance walked in holding the baby, Sarah burst into tears. Eleanor, thank you so much. You saved my son. Nonsense. I only did what anyone would have done. The baby was hesitant at first, but soon settled into his mother's arms. It's Mommy. Mommy's here, Sarah whispered, holding him tight. Next was the meeting with David. He fell to his knees in front of Sarah. I'm sorry. I'm so, so sorry. I was out of my mind. Sarah, it will never happen again. I'll get counseling. I'll get treatment. Please forgive me. With the help of a counselor, the two slowly began to talk. I was terrified. I was afraid you would hurt the baby. That's why I ran, Sarah said. I was so wrong. From now on, I will never, ever do that again. David was genuinely remorseful. The 6 months he had spent searching for his wife and child had made him realize his faults. He also agreed to enter treatment for alcohol abuse. David said, and let's get couples counseling and slowly rebuild our relationship. Sarah cautiously agreed, on one condition. You never ever try to control me or hit me again. I promise, never again. Eleanor Vance watched the entire process. I'm so relieved that this family can reconcile. In the new year of 2010, the three of them made a fresh start. As promised, David received treatment for his alcoholism, and the couple attended regular counseling. The baby was growing up healthy. They named him Ethan Hope Miller. Eleanor gave us a new chance, so the name Hope seems just right, Sarah said. Eleanor Vance became the family's godmother. Eleanor is our family's guardian angel, David said. Today, the family is living happily. David has completely changed, and Sarah has overcome her trauma. Ethan is now 16 years old and in high school. He treats Eleanor Vance like his own grandmother. Without Eleanor, we wouldn't be here today. It was a miraculous conclusion born from a 6-month ordeal. This story is based on true events that occurred between 2009 and 2010. It's a story of a mother's love that never gave up even in a desperate situation, and the miraculous salvation brought by the warm heart of a retired nurse. The Miller family is living a happy life today. David has transformed into an exemplary husband, and Ethan is a healthy high school student. Eleanor Vance, now in her late 70s, still spends time with the family, enjoying a happy retirement. What did you think of this story? Did you feel that true courage is helping someone in need, and true love is admitting one's faults and changing for the better? Please share your thoughts in the comments. Sometimes, in our darkest moments, an angel-like person appears to save us. It makes us realize how precious it is to have the courage to help someone just like Eleanor Vance. I want to continue bringing you these kinds of moving and hopeful true stories. Please support us by subscribing, liking, and turning on notifications. And please share this beautiful story so it can bring courage and hope to more people. I will be back next week with another touching true story to warm your hearts. Love and forgiveness can heal all wounds. Thank you.